Jschlatt, a YouTuber and Twitch streamer most famous for his Minecraft videos, Nintendo Wii gameplays, powerful amount of self-confidence, strange facial hair, presidential run, and RAM. He's been making content for years, but it really started getting recognition in 2019 and peaked at the end of 2020. Jschlatt's made a major impact on me, my life, and my sense of humor, and it's for those reasons I thought I'd go through my experience with him and his content. And this is a tribute to Jschlatt. It all started on January 6, 2020. I started getting recommended videos on YouTube from a channel named Jschlatt. The man behind this channel was loud. Very loud. It's honestly kind of sad that this was everyone's humor at the time.
I'm gonna play it everywhere you walk!
There were city skylines, tier lists, Minecraft Mondays even. Most of these videos I shortly realized were from the same Minecraft server, SMP Live. The days of Jschlatt's most infamous bits, the days of Stall, Jschlattcoin, and top-tier comedy.
Where there's a will.
These things, while mostly not present today, all help Jschlatt's content become what it is now. And it can be interesting to find what things led to what later down the line.
I never knew my real lad.
Unfortunately though, by the time I knew Jschlatt, a lot of these things were over. The SMP Live ended, and not too long after, Jschlatt stopped streaming, with his last stream being Raving Rabbits. God, I'd hate if those were my last words. This is also around the time of Lunch Club. I'm not really gonna talk about it, and instead we'll leave it at this was some of Jschlatt's first bits of IRL content and were incredibly entertaining. A lot of these videos are still fantastic even now. I recommend if you're a newer viewer to go back and check out some of this. It's still just as funny as the day it was posted. But that's where most of these things end. Jschlatt stopped producing the main piece of content he was known for, and ended it all with Raving Rabbits for the Nintendo Wii. This brings us to the era of Wii games. This was an awkward time. Not bad. Just strange. In this time, Jschlatt would play different games for the Nintendo Wii. To start with Wii Music, took a smart turn for Wii Sports, and then spiraled out of control like a deranged man in 1999. Even after the Wii Sports series, a lot of these still made sense, like Wii Fit, or the Wii Sports Motion series of games. But who let the M&Ms in here, and why is Howie Mandel surrounded by so many women at the same damn face? Like most things with Jschlatt, it was just one or two little videos that slowly took over everything. There's also something happened with the horror game Lakers on the channel, primarily Five Nights at Freddy's, one of the best Wii games. Again, this was still good content, just strange. But keep in mind, we got Baby Utah. Love. The most powerful weapon on Earth. Except Jschlatt's Glock. Jschlatt made 3 videos of his time on 3 different Lover Host streams. Lover Host being the Twitch dating show hosted by Austin Show. Jschlatt was a great contestant because he was unlike any other one in the past. Most of the time the contestants on Lover Host are often on their best behavior, so as to make a good impression of the guest and win the game. Jschlatt was not concerned with winning. The first video of Jschlatt and Lover Host was very casual. Jschlatt brought out a gun and called out a streamer a day before they were cancelled, accidentally spoke like an incel.
You're the first girl that's actually clapped back and showed any kind of interest in being on the same level intellectually as me, so that's something I really...
All great, but it was in the second video where he usurped control of the game, and from experience, awful things happened when Jschlatt is in charge. The guest of this video was Justin Minx, who Jschlatt was very upfront with.
I haven't streamed since January 16th, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, Minx, I still picked host. I'm only here to make a few jokes and then turn it into a YouTube video and then get like 1 million views on it.
Throughout the video, he would loudly and with intent to be heard mock Minx, ignore Minx,
Obviously too cool for Minx.
and generally show everyone that he didn't want to be there.
Nobody even picked me, and I've been very straightforward with my intentions.
He would even make fun of his competition.
I see a minion back there, Minx.
A lot of keyboards were lost that day. A like to point out this clip here because I've thought about it since the video originally came out. Throughout the stream, Jschlatt was eating McDonald's and at one point started talking about how it felt like a brick in his stomach, to which Bruce dropped him off in Quincy, UK agreed. This moment is just so funny to me because all three of these people picked host. The illusion dropped for a second in this moment and replaced with three people simply being real, which is very funny to me. The most common theme of the live stream was Minx repeatedly making the wrong choices. She kept removing people who picked love and left Jschlatt until the end. A decision that was so awful, Jschlatt actually took pity on her and told her to pick the other person there, Dean. She didn't, and he won. After this, Jschlatt made one more Lover Host video. The highlights are, Minx showed up in a wedding dress trying to propose. There's a surprise guest event Sama who also tried to propose and serenaded everyone in the video call. And this video came out after Jschlatt's job application commercial, so the Pope looming in the background felt a lot more ominous. Jschlatt got mutton chops. This is the main time Jschlatt started to do everything in his power to separate himself from his fans, or stans. His main tactic? Grow the ugliest style of facial hair he could think of. And I like the look. I know it was supposed to look bad and scare away anyone who liked him just for his looks, but to be honest, I think the mutton chops made Jschlatt look better because he looked more defined. Jschlatt before the mutton chops, in his general appearance and attire, did not make Jschlatt look as unique as he really was, or really just fit his personality. He blends in with most YouTubers. I can't see any reason to assume he's different. But after the mutton chops, I understand what's going on with him perfectly. He kind of showed in the physical form that he is different. He is himself and he is unapologetic or uncaring as to what the average person thinks of him.
But my journey with the chops is my journey of learning to not give a single shit about you.
So, it's a good look. Imagine writing a 169-word paragraph about the facial hair of a man you don't know. Do you think people are gonna realize I've won the suit before?
Jschlatt 2020. That's right. My president. I had the poster and everything. 1%. Join the 1%. USA.
In October 2020, Jschlatt ran president. Ignoring the long story about him actually being president of something, this was Jschlatt's prime. Jschlatt closed out 2020 with a merch drop to end all merch drops, a collection of merch promoting his candidacy and run for president of the United States. I'm fond of how the merch released in the drop were some things that were standard YouTube merch and some things that felt more like an actual politician would put out. And a poster. This all of course helped him win the election. After this, Jschlatt did another YouTube's release, now with a series of plushies based on his RAM profile picture. This included a small one, a big one, a pillow, an odd little bag of things, and the RAM plushie that had been sitting in the background of his videos for months. I was actually there when the plushies were released. I was waiting for the YouTube's website to update as we only knew the general time for the drop. Then Jschlatt uploaded a new video to his channel and I could tell that meant the drop was happening now, as it was likely in his contract to post a video right when the plushies were released for sale. I went to the website, tried to get one of the 12-inch RAM plushies, and when I pressed the add to cart button, I was put on the waiting list. Then after waiting a while, I found out all the plushies sold out in 2 minutes. That was kind of a bummer, but it was okay, because I pressed play on a movie that came out only a week earlier, and I actually ended up loving it. And then on Christmas Eve, while watching a video where Jschlatt became president someplace else that we will not discuss today, my Jschlatt 2020 merch arrived. I got the incredibly well illustrated poster, and a hoodie which is very comfortable, stylish, and one of my favorite pieces of clothing. He really saved the United States, and Christmas. And now we arrive at the final chapter. Who is Jschlatt? I believe it comes down to 3 factors. Jschlatt is a funny man, a comedian perhaps. He's honestly so spectacular at this one style of very niche comedy. For one, he understands the more stupid parts of the internet. I don't think general audiences would be amused by
Power bird.
But I am, and if anyone is, that's enough. I think many people came out of the time where Jschlatt was mostly popular with their brains completely fried as to what a good joke is, which is why
Power bird
is so great. Another running joke he has is just based off how corrupt he is. He's often shown to be things like a of the mob, an unwell murderer, a crooked politician. These characters he enjoys playing are honestly just kind of evil. Who he is as a person helps this. He knows how to carry himself in a threatening way, and has a frighteningly powerful voice with his thick accent and maniacal laugh.
alternative to that is another joke that he's just not that much. He can act evil, he can say he's evil, but oftentimes someone else will bring him down to a more modest level. Usually someone will embarrass him, he'll embarrass himself, or he'll just be sad. Jschlatt is a beacon of strong emotions. He and his friend Ted share this quirk. Jschlatt is very violent. He is almost always breaking something, like keyboards, or my heart. He'll have such angry reactions to things that in the grand scheme of things, never matter. Sometimes his outbursts are what makes a bit happen. Stall is an easy example, but there's also Schlag. Schlag probably would have been just a one-off joke, but he kept it going. There are more jokes than this though. His devotion to Christianity, his multiple nicknames that apparently people have called him being homophobic followed by him being very gay. Jschlatt is a very funny man. Jschlatt is also a businessman, in two senses. One, he often portrays the character of a crooked moneymaker who will con, scam, and deceive to get where he wants to be financially. Most of his bits were about this, him being $90,000 in debt for one. But on the other hand, so to speak, he genuinely is a businessman. He is constantly making merch deals, sponsor deals, even YouTube deals. Brand. He has his ways in business, and he knows what makes money. Like I've said before, he often takes one video that was popular and turns it into a series. There's rants, weird indie games, many things we talked about today, like Lover or Host, Wii games, horror games, Jackbox, all one-off videos that became something. Jschlatt definitely understands how to keep people coming back and make revenue all the while. Almost every single one of the videos I've mentioned has some sort of sponsor or ad involved somewhere. This is genuinely great advertising and marketing from a good businessman. I'm aware I've been talking to him up this whole time. Oh, wow. But in the end, Jschlatt is just a guy. A guy who's like many other people out there. That's a good thing. He used to be just some guy entirely. An example, here's a clip from when he sent in a submission for a Scott the Woz video as just a fan.
Hey Scott, you caught me playing Madden 05 for the Game Boy Advance.
It's sort of surreal to see to me, and this may sound obvious. Jschlatt is loud and jokey just because that's his sense of humor and charisma. In reality, he's a lot more laid back. You ever notice that when you look past things like the funny mic and the screaming, Jschlatt is just a very quiet streamer. I think that's one of the main reasons I liked him to begin with. Most streamers like him are very exaggerative and animated, while Jschlatt felt more cool and honest.
I was never a huge fan of Let's Plays. My introduction to the genre was, well, loud. Even back then it was a screaming contest, and even though I was 12, that kind of stuff just didn't sit well with me. I found myself gravitating to more reserved and laid-back YouTubers.
He was always very funny and didn't have to shout to get his point across. And just like many of us, his humor is just a product of influence. His evil businessman bit, they came from Chips and Chin, two YouTubers he idolized. And now, you can tell severely people have gotten it from him. He often uses very quiet and peaceful music from games like Animal Crossing or Minecraft. He's very capable of being a more calm streamer. For every... there's at least one more peaceful moment to follow it.
I was just talking to Tubbo. Tubbo's such a great kid. He really is. He is Tubbo. He's such a fucking Tubbo.
For those who don't know, Jschlatt actually runs a channel called The Weekly Slap, where he answers fan mail, and there's almost no jokes here. A lot of his advice can be very insightful. I'm very fond of the content here. I personally admire who Jschlatt is. He's a funny man and a great content creator, but also just a cool guy. He's not the most optimistic person there, but he's sincere. He's a lot like most people who watch his content, which makes him much more enjoyable. Jschlatt is just a cool guy who managed to become popular. And to me, that's far better than him being a character. This is not where Jschlatt's stories end. He got a cat, started a podcast, returned to streaming. There's a lot more to be said about him, just not by me. This video was created just to go through my experience with finding who he is and becoming a fan, which I have. I could talk about other things, but I like the story and its time span. So I'm going to leave everything here and say I hope you enjoyed my tribute to Jschlatt.